Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the Wednesday, May 14th edition of the Daily Pulse. I'm your host, Teddy Panos, coming to you from the WellPoint Studios here in beautiful downtown Lowell. And if it is Wednesday, well, you know what that means. We're joined by the former mayor of the city of Lowell, former city council, former head of school, headmaster, whatever your title was back then at Lowell High School. Bill Samaras is with us in the WellPoint Studios. Good morning, Mr.
Good
Mayor.
morning. You found me roaming the streets. So
We dragged you back in.
He pulled me in.
He said he wasn't going to come back because he got in so much trouble the last 2 weeks, but we got him back in here. Joining former Mayor Samaras, we're excited to have State Representative Tara Hong, the 18th Middlesex State Representative here in the city of Lowell. Just kicked off, 4 months and a little bit of change?
It's my 5th month now.
Your 5th month of your first term at the State House, and you've managed to make tremendous headlines for a freshman state rep. Usually the freshmen kind of stay quiet, right? They're seen and not heard, but you've made some headlines recently, especially here in the city of Lowell, and I want to talk to you about that. Give you a chance to talk about a bill that you've co-signed onto that has received a lot of criticism, and it was part of a discussion on the Lowell City Council floor. So I appreciate you coming on in. We'll talk about some of the other things that you're working on in your first term as well up there on Beacon Hill. We'll start our discussion with Representative Hong, former Mayor Samaras, in a quick second. Let me just thank our Daily Pulse sponsors. Start with Ray Booten, licensed realtor, Massachusetts and New Hampshire, certified appraiser in both states as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, a business, or a commercial property, Ray Booten is your man. Find him online, realestaterayBooten.com. Also want to thank our friends at WellPoint. WellPoint, the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. Thank you to Ray. Thank you to WellPoint. Thank you to our guests. By the way, the last time we actually saw each other for a long period was at an event that WellPoint was holding at the Stocklosa School. They were rewarding a couple of teachers, and you actually addressed the group and the students. You were a student at the Stocklosa School. I did not realize that.
Yeah, I was at the school of Stocklosa since first time I arrived to the United States in 2013. I was there like the second semester of 7th grade, and then I go there until 8th grade, and I finished there. It's a great school.
Yeah. Well, it was good to see it. It is a great school, and the teachers there do amazing work, as they do in all of the Lowell schools, and I'm glad our friends at WellPoint are really diving headfirst into our community here and getting involved, especially with education and teachers.
Yeah, and then before I got elected, I also do substitute teachers there as well. So I got
That's right. You mentioned that.
I got the opportunity to meet the teacher and work with her a little bit. She helped. That's why she's great.
Did you recognize any of the students who were in the auditorium?
Some of them.
Did they like you? How did you score as a teacher? Did they like you, or?
I didn't get any negative response, but
so they like you.
A positive thing.
But you couldn't wait to get a full-time job and stop substitute teaching.
As a substitute teacher, it's a hard job. It's interesting.
I actually enjoy it, not for middle school, but like for elementary school. I substituted at the Shaughnessy School as well before I got elected for like 3rd grade and 4th grade, and I actually like it.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Oh, times must have changed, because when I was in school, we saw the substitute as an excuse for a day to party. Like, we're not doing anything today. There's a substitute.
I make them work.
I can recall torture. We tortured some substitutes.
There were a lot that did not like me, I'll tell you that. And now they don't like me now that I'm a grown-up.
It was like a television sitcom, some of the things we did.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's talk about the legislation that has gotten you some notoriety here in the city, but also, throughout the state. Yes, in God's backyard. It's an act to create housing through religious organizations. I want to give you a chance. Explain what the bill is as far as you see it and why you co-signed onto it along with State Rep Andy Vargas from Haverhill.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Teddy, for the opportunity to come in and discuss about this today. And nice to see you again, Mr. Mayor. And before I go forward, I just want to say sorry to the Upper Highland neighborhood on Monday. I was unable to join the meeting due to family commitment, but I'll be there next month to answer any question. But also have office hour next Tuesday as well at the library if you want to stop by and discuss more.
They're an active group. That's good.
Yeah, that's good though, to keep me in track. But the main idea behind of me signing on this bill. So a little bit story of it. When I swore in on January 1st, 2025 of this year, we have 14 days to file registration. 14 days. As a freshman, that's a crazy 2 week. We go in, swear in, and get down to work right away. And that's where we, have the opportunity to meet other representatives and our colleague to discuss and support each other, build those kind of stuff, right? Those 14 days at the State House is crazy. And especially as a freshman, I have stuff that I want to file as well. And when I got a reach out from the representative, Andy Vargas, about this bill, what I thought is that the main thought behind this is that it's a great opportunity for bring new perspective to the table in helping solving the housing crisis that we have right now in the Commonwealth. It's nothing trying to do anything else crazy. It's just main idea was honestly just want to find a way to solve the housing crisis. I understand that the bill it's not it can be not like a perfect be written, but that's where the process come in, right? There's a hearing, there's a committee hearing, there's testimony, the expert testify, and before it get to the House floor, it have to go through many process, right? That's where the public opinion coming, like what we're doing right now in the community. There's a lot of the good suggestion, got a lot of good comment, criticism that we're gonna take into it and how fix this bill that to fit for all community. It's not a one solution for all. I understand that, but it's just a proposal, and that we can work and improve it to fit every community.
But you were criticized by the city council,
right?
Because it was sort of a surprise to them,
right?
And they felt that you should have come before them or set something up where you had some type of dialogue with them before you made the presentation. And that's, as a state rep, you have the right to do what you want to do. You have your direction. As city councils, they have their direction.
Correct.
But they're closer to the people, and a lot of their motions that they make are made by the neighbors, people that
Correct.
They meet with, and yours can be more, well, there's a trend going, this could fit into what we're doing. But it did cause some concern because the housing situation is a very sensitive situation, and what to do with properties that become available, that can be a real fight in your hand, and people want to have input to that. So how do you address that?
I appreciate the council for coming together and voice their opinion on this particular bill. This particular bill itself, I know they sent a letter to us. I have not received it yet, but looking forward to the letter and provide my comment, respond back to the manager and the council after I receive the letter. The work of being a rep and the council a little bit different because my role, I represent the 18 Middlesex District and the City of Flow, but also I have to work with another 159 representatives across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is not a motion. This is a bill that we won't expect the motion response from the city manager right away from next week or the next week after that. It's a process that's how make this fit for all community, right? It's a proposal. It is a proposal, and that are open for common suggestion from everyone. When this first of all, this bill have not even get assigned for a committee hearing yet. So to shut down like this an opposition letter to the delegation and the Speaker of the House, I feel like it's not the right move at this particular moment.
Okay. So interestingly enough, I started looking into it after the controversy blew up on the council floor. And this is not the first time this bill was filed in Massachusetts. There's a lot of talk about it in other states, California, of course, and other states. It appears to be a national movement. But if I'm not mistaken, somebody filed this in 2023 in Massachusetts as well. And I believe this is the second go around for this bill. Were you aware of that at the time that Representative Vargas reached out?
I did not.
You weren't. Okay. You may want to double check my facts.
But I know that this bill was come up in California, Ohio, and other state as well. It worked in California and other places. It doesn't mean that it will work here, but that's where the proposal of the bill come in, right? To see if it would fit or not.
Were you surprised with how controversial it got, how much controversy it generated?
A little bit. It's my first term. And you learn from your mistake. But it's not a mistake, though. It's a proposal that I feel like it's an idea of part of the solution in a way we want to help. I want to help solving the housing crisis, and any idea that come in with building more affordable housing and providing alleviate to zone reform, those kind of stuff. I'm here for that, but it's just not going to go in tomorrow and pass into law.
But the difficulty is, you made a statement saying that, that you can make it a bill that can fit everybody. There is no bill that can fit everybody.
That's
and
right.
A city like Lowell might be going a different direction. So there's a lot of difficulty in that. I mean, and getting people to understand that.
How would this work? I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this would actually work. It will allow churches or religious organizations that own properties to build housing units on their property. And what is it, up to 50 units per acre? Do I have that correct?
I'll give my number. I'll probably get around there.
Okay.
Yeah. Depend on the acre and the qualification of the land. Yes.
Yeah. So churches aren't in the business of developing housing.
Correct.
So last I checked. So clearly a housing developer is going to have to get involved here. What would you say to those who say this is just a go around using the religious organizations as a way to funnel money into developers?
Well, I would say that if there's a few research and comment from the religions institution in other town and city that they want to have the ability to build housing and help with the affordable housing issue right now that we have in our state. The main goal behind this bill is to giving those opportunity to religion institutions who want to build affordable housing, to build housing that affordable and fall into the qualification of the bill itself. If we go through in this particular language, it's going to change, don't worry, but it also fall under the regulation of the city or town that they're in as well. And when they able to build those, they still going to have to pay property tax and those kind of stuff as well, which is benefit to whatever town or city.
And I can understand that, but as a city councilor, I may be looking to help the school committee build a new school on that location, or I maybe want to help a developer who's going to bring in, because of where the church is located, industry that would increase the tax base that would allow us to build more affordable housing.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So the thing is that these are sometimes these are the type of bills that lock a city into, or hurt them from developing the growth in the way they have in the type of pattern that they've developed.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. So, but this bill, it's only land that owned by the religion institution.
I understand it, but
build that they can use to build their housing. It have to be.
But I want that land. I want that land to build a school.
Well, then you can work with the religion
I want that land
to do that.
I want that land to expand Raytheon.
Well, it's a land owned by the religious institution, so it's up to them what they want to do with it.
But so does the church have to, or the religious institution, do they have to continue to own the land?
Yes.
Once the housing is built.
So it's going to fall into the default of our affordable housing rule that we have right now, right? Every affordable housing unit, if you buy it, you have to fall for like at least 30 years or so to fall as an affordable housing, right? Market unit, you can sell it at any time. But if, like, for example, the Merrimack Valley housing partnership, they build a lot of affordable housing in the Acre neighborhood right now, right? Those units, if you buy that particular unit, is you have to own for 30 years. You cannot rent, you cannot sell it because it's fall under the affordable housing regulation.
Okay, so the church will continue to own it, but a developer will come in and build it and probably have to run it, manage it, right? Because you 50 units, if you get as that many, that needs a professional management company to run as well, right?
That's depend on the church, on the religious institution to do that. But that's where the more conversation come in with this. A lot of good suggestion that I've been receiving from the constituent in the district and outside the district. We're gonna use that to improve the bill on giving more detail and perspective on how can we make this better. Okay. If again, it's not a one solution for all. If this doesn't go anywhere, we can also discuss to find a different solution relate to affordable housing in our state as well.
Okay. Shortly after that city council meeting where everybody offered their opinion and the council voted to send that letter, I received some information that Representative Vargas is actually employed by a real estate development company, the Bell Tower Group, which was the merger of a well-known Lowell company, the Edge Group, and I forget what the one up in, I think it was the Lawrence area or Haverhill area. I think must have been the Haverhill area where he's from. He works for a real estate development group, and the insinuation was he and his friends, partners, are gonna make money from this. I looked into that group. As best I can tell, it is just a commercial real estate group. The Edge Group in Lowell, that you're very familiar with, Mayor Samaras, that was commercial real estate, and everything on their current website now as well says commercial real estate. No mention of housing whatsoever. Still, some folks will say it could still be a conflict of interest for Representative Vargas if at some point they decide to get into housing development, or you call it first floor commercial and everything up above housing, which seems to be the trend in development now. Right. Have you had a chance to address that with him, and do you believe that creates a sticky situation for him and by extension you, because you're the co-sponsor of this bill?
I got the opportunity to get to know Rob Vargas a little bit before I swore in as well, and now we're in the same office area together. Rob Vargas is a smart and passionate person who good at his job in this past few terms that he in this role. He's currently the chair of Community Development Small Business Joint Committee, which I'm also on with the representative. He is good at what he do. He understands the cause, and I'm sure that what lead him to make decision of filing this bill is he look into all the legal statutes relate to his job. The bell towers that have a lot of good people on there that work and help commercial property in our city as well, to get space filled up with business and nonprofit organization to use the space and so on. So I'm sure that he know what he's doing, and I trust his position.
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, the Edge Group or the Bell Tower Group, they've done some terrific work in Lowell. And when you talk about the commercial development, that's what I see Lowell needing. There's no question. But the thing is, sometimes what happens in some of these bills, they come in, and as mayor, I had to deal with some of the issues as transition was being made, and the state was getting more directly involved in parking situations in the city, how the neighborhoods are going to be constructed. And as councilors, we have to face a lot of people, a lot of angry people sometimes, and how these things are handled.
We have to go back to the beginning. We have 14 days to file registration, right? There's not a lot of time for me to go in and to let everyone know that I'm planning to file this particular bill or co-sign into it. And also it's a process of how the bill works, and also I don't have, I elected by the people in my 18 Middlesex district. The constituent in the 18 Middlesex district during the time of door knocking and canvassing in that particular neighborhood, they want to see find a way to help solving the housing crisis in our state. And this is what I see at first when I read the bill, when I got reached out by the representative, and I feel like this can be one of those topic that we can help solve the issue. And I understand that now there's a lot of pushback and suggestion and criticism into it. We will take that into a deep consideration, and we'll make change to the bill when needed going forward when we have the hearing, when we have the testimony from the people and expert testimony, and even before it go to the House floor to vote into pass into law in our Commonwealth, there will many more suggestions and amendment from other representatives across the Commonwealth to make it fit each of their community and town. So,
okay. In fairness, you every time we talked, when we introduced you as a candidate, both in 2022 and again in 2024, you said housing is one of your priorities. You no surprise, as you sat here in a debate with then Representative Mom and the third candidate in the race, Andrew Kohler, you talked about housing, affordable housing. I'm wondering how. So Governor Healy and the legislature approved, what was it, a $500 million housing bill, bonding bill last year. It didn't include this. Why do this separate when it wasn't included in the governor's bill? Why not give a chance for the governor's bill and all these programs that she's now running around touting, that they've got all these different housing developments? Why not give that a chance to work before introducing another component that is, well, it's controversial in Lowell. I don't know how it's being received in Representative Vargas's district or anywhere else in the state.
Well, you talk about the affordable, the bond bill.
Yeah, she did a housing bond bill back last year, and it hasn't had a chance to kick in now. There's still, they're announcing projects as a result of it, but we haven't had a chance to see if that could ease the housing crisis that folks are talking about.
Well, the housing bond bill, that was happened before I got elected. So it's a what's the best way to put it? It's a project and that the governor have, and the legislator before me allowed that $50 billion, I believe.
It was a big number.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. For some reason, the number 500 million is sticking to me.
And it's going along. The governor working and her staff working on finding ways to make that work and relate to affordable housing in our state and build more housing, those kind of stuff. But this is not the only bill that's being filed related to housing this session. It's many more bills. As a representative, we have to be creative on finding a way to help solving the problem in our Commonwealth. And if different ideas come up every day that we have from constituent in ourselves, right? And we want to put it out there. The only way to start the conversation, we have to put our idea out there to start the conversation. And when we put it out there, we're going to get all this comment, suggestion that we're going to take it again, and we go with the process to make it work. If it doesn't work, fine, we'll move on to a different idea.
Yeah. One of the criticisms I have of this rush to build more housing is it's Massachusetts. It is impossible to build what people think of affordable housing as in people can go out and afford to pay it, whether it's a house or even rent. I think I saw that the Lowell Housing Authority created some units, and it came out it was built at a cost of like $700,000 per unit. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about here? So the cost of construction, the cost of land, and all this, any housing that you build, they're going to have to charge a pretty high rent.
Correct.
Now, if that is then subsidized in some way, shape, or form by the state, federal government, or whoever, it becomes affordable for the person who's living there. But for the person who's developed the housing, they have to get a pretty good sum of money. Is there anything in this bill that adds to make the housing affordable, that adds some kind of subsidy from the government? Would the government then be required to give a subsidy to these churches, which I think might start to run into that separation of church and state thing? And then if not, then are we sure that this is just going to create more housing that's too expensive for people who can't afford it already to live in?
So that's a good question that I'll look into it. and get back to you as soon as I can. Like that.
I think what he's going to. I mean, that's always been the issue. Is people like to come to Lowell because the thing is the rents have been more than reasonable. I mean, you go into Cambridge and you buy or rent a condominium. I mean,
I'm a renter. I know.
You're talking major money. You can rent the same space or a bigger space in Lowell
Right.
for much less. But the thing is, the way things have been turning out, our rents are going up,
Yeah.
and comparable to what's going on in the rest of the state.
You much
And
more
then-
eloquently
and there
said
needs-
what I was trying to say.
There needs to be some subsidies. I
Yeah.
mean,
So that's
that might be a direction that we'd like to see the state going.
I was paying, before I bought my home in 2018, I was paying $1,800 a month for a studio apartment. It was nice, but now compared to other communities, that's cheap. People say, "Oh, that's much cheaper. You can pay over $2,000 for a similar place elsewhere." But for people on the lower end, $1,800 a month for a studio is expensive. Let alone $2,400, $2,600, $2,800 for 2-bedroom or even 3-bedroom if you've got a family.
Yeah.
Well, even in the housing, we're having issues with people not being able to meet the needs of even the housing standards.
Mm-hmm. So there is program out there that subsidize and help with affordable topic. Low Housing Authority and Merrimack Valley Housing Partnership, they work very well in building those affordable housing and get the grant money and the funding from the state to subsidize the affordable piece of it in the any unit that they build. And I'm sure that with this bill, with going forward with more discussion, that's going to fall under the same rule and regulation of how we set what is affordable, right? Affordable doesn't mean $800 and $200 a month. It's still, in that market.
It's affordable to me.
And it's still in that, I agree with you. Affordable is $200. That would be great. But, it's still going to fall in around that 15 to, 2,000 range. That's not everyone can afford that. I understand the reality that we live in, the housing costs and the expensiveness across the state and the country. But we have to find a way to make it easier for people. I'm a renter. My salary is not. I'm not a rich guy in this position.
You might have the lowest income in the entire House of Representatives.
and the rent is. I live in the Acre neighborhood, and my rent is still expensive. I live with my partner now, and we have 2 dogs, and that's expensive for me in this role. So I understand the issue we're in. I'm just trying to be a part of the conversation and start the conversation to find a better solution for it. As you know, my campaign 3 issue was better constituent service, education, and affordable housing. And this is the promise of running my campaign. And it's not the only bill that I filed relate to housing either. That I help. With this one, I help file, co-file, but. It's a promise to the community. That's what I'm working to deliver. The past 5 months in this role, I've been out there every single day fighting and advocate for the 18 Middlesex district at the State House and represent in the district as well. It's the first time this position have the person who in this position have office hour, active on social media, show up in the community, talk to small businesses, willing to listen to people, meeting one-on-one with constituents.
It's obvious you've put yourself out there.
And the goal is to find a way to represent the 18 Middlesex district. And at the State House, it's a completely different world. We have 160 of us, and to be able to work together, you have to find a way to make your way into it, right? And to be, respectful, make connection, friend up there, and that's the only way to get things done. In this first budget that we just go through, as a freshman, I able to fight for $75K back to the 18 Middlesex district. That's a good for a freshman. I just wanted to put it out there that the work just started, and all I ask the people in the 18 Middlesex district is that give me some time to continue doing the work and advocate for you. If you have any issue on how I do work, reach out at any time. My phone number, my email's out there. I'm willing to sit down and talk with anybody, and I and learn about the concern and any suggestion that may have to do what I can do to represent the people in 18 Mill Circle.
That drive will carry you a long way. That's what people. Unfortunately, that's what people expect.
Yeah.
They really want you 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
They want you online.
Yes, they do.
That's basically it. 24 hours a day.
You mentioned your other pieces of legislation, and they're related to education and another housing bill. I want to talk a little bit about those in the time we have left. And don't worry, folks, I will ask the question that I know you all want me to ask, so I will. First, let me just remind you, we're chatting with State Representative Tara Hong, representing the 18th Middlesex District in Lowell, former Lowell Mayor Bill Samaras. Want to quickly thank our Daily Pulse sponsors, Ray Booton, licensed realtor, Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Find them online, realestaterayBooton.com. Thank you as well to WellPoint at WellPoint. Your whole health is their whole point. Washington Savings Bank, banking that feels like home. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. Tomorrow on the Daily Pulse, we're going to be joined by V. Kong from Washington Savings Bank, talk about the 50-year commemoration. They've got a bunch of events going on to commemorate the 50th year of the Khmer Rouge, or to remember it and what it's wrought for the Cambodian people, the rich Cambodian community here in Lowell. V will join us. We'll talk about that tomorrow. TMI Properties, quality and value at every price point. Find your perfect space with TMI. Mahoney Oil, providing warmth and protection to Greater Lowell and Southern New Hampshire since 1925. The Greater Lowell Community Foundation, improving the quality of life in Greater Lowell through strategic, impactful philanthropy. Francis E. Preventure Insurance, the agency Greater Lowell has counted on to protect its most valuable assets since 1982. And by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Mill City. Our latest Inside the Pirates podcast featured the newest member of the Pirates, Monty Montgomery, signed with the team and played the exact same day. He's getting his feet wet with the Pirates. State Representative Tara Hahn getting his feet wet here in the Daily Pulse and the WellPoint studios with us. All right, the other housing bill that you mentioned, you filed, I looked at it, Housing Bill 1526, House Bill 1526, I should say, involved rent stabilization. I've heard of rent control. I'd never heard of rent stabilization. What is the difference between the two? Is there a difference between the two?
Well, before I go on, you're gonna talk to Wee tomorrow. She's great.
Yes,
that'll be wonderful.
I'm trying to get her to launch her own podcast. She's afraid her bosses will fire her.
Well, anyway, go back to the bill. The idea behind rent stabilization was from a few of the constituents in the district during my time of canvassing. They want to find a way to, with capping the rent and also make it more affordable when you rent. Rent stabilization is literally rent control. It's just another word to say it. And with this particular bill, it's nothing controversial. It's just saying that an act to establish commission to study rent stabilization. So literally in asking our state and the executive housing livable community to have a commission to study, can rent stabilization work or not work in our Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and if it doesn't work, what are the other options to make more rent affordable for all? All
right, so the bill does not ask either a yes or no vote if it comes up for a vote to study it.
Correct.
Okay. Has I imagine it's been studied. I think even in Boston they're bouncing the idea around potentially.
Right. They in Boston area they do have a bill related to rent stabilization, but that's for Boston area only. Right. This one is studied for the whole state,
the entire state,
and see can it be work or not. That's all.
Okay. You mentioned education was a priority. You talked about that all throughout your campaigns. Two of your bills are education. One of them is transportation of homeless students. The other one involved teacher pay, if I read it correctly.
Actually, three bills that relate to education. So the first bill related to transportation homeless you mentioned it was a home rule petition from the city council that this council passed a motion few months ago, I believe, and then it was sent to all three of us, the delegation on the House side and the senator as well. And it's just a courtesy as a freshman, you take that on and file it on behalf of the council. Especially this bill was originally from Councilor John Dakota, and I just put it in and file, and we'll help advocate it, because this is from the city and they think that this is the best way to do it in their way of take care of transportation to homeless students. So I filed it on behalf of the city, and we'll help advocate to make it work. The other two bill is related to, one of them is teacher pay. That's one I co-filed with Representative Erica Ironhoven from Summerville. It's just making find a way. It's just giving more pay to support better pay for teacher and paraprofessional, and the base pay they start, right? The teacher start should be at 65K, and paraprofessional should start at 45K. That's what in the bill say, and that's literally just the base pay, for teacher and paraprofessional to start. And the last bill that I filed, that's from me as someone who passionate about civic education and civic engagement in the community. That bill is just requiring public high school education to have at least one semester of teaching about civic education and civic engagement in the community. Learn how government works.
Yeah.
Learn about how local government, state government, federal government work. And in the bill itself, also expressing that when that course almost end, the school should provide them opportunity in the community itself to intern, volunteer with local nonprofit, local government, to allow students to be a part of the community. So that way, we prepare them at a young age to be engaged when they graduate.
That's been discussed at many levels. I mean, I like what I hear. I mean, do you find support, at the state?
Yeah, so this...
Are people interested in that? I mean, I think they should be. I mean, because we look at the problems that are going on in this country, and it's lack of understanding of the process.
I agree. And so far, so good. I have a lot of good conversation with other colleagues related to this bill. And the other reason why I put as a requirement course for one semester is because right now we don't have MCAS as a requirement graduation anymore. I feel like this is a great opportunity to fit it in there, to require one of the course that students take for their graduation. Yeah.
All right, allow me to be the jerk on this one. But I think there's a fine line in civics between education and engagement versus, which to me is learning about how your government works, learning how it was supposed to work, how the country was founded, and the battles between states' rights versus federal rights. And I think there might be a lack of that in the schools, and I think there might be a little too much engagement, which I feel crosses the line into activism. I'm looking at like the Lowell schools, and one of the most, we're always getting stories here at InsideLowell about civic engagement and projects, that political activities that kids are involved with. The kids are walking out of school when there are certain issues that come forward. We've had walkouts at Lowell High School. I don't know if you did back in your day, but that's kind of become a thing. Is the problem that we don't have civic education, or that we don't have enough civic engagement as you see it?
I would say both. I would say both.
Good answer.
Because the civic education is not teaching students become, activism and yelling and those kind of stuff. It's just giving the knowledge of how the government actually works. The generation that we in right now, it's different from your mind and generation before COVID-19. We actually outside, playing sport, engaged with community, volunteer work. But this generation after COVID-19, it's completely different. They have social anxiety. They're on their phone most of the time, and they don't have this knowledge of what is out there, how to be engaged, right? The idea behind this bill is to give them the knowledge. And, with the knowledge, they can choose to do whatever they want in this free country. Either, run for office, engage in political activity or activism work. But we need to give as much, and we need to offer as much education support as we can to the next generation going forward.
That's my concern. You mentioned COVID, and constitutional rights were getting trampled left and right during COVID, and I didn't see any education trying to tell people, don't just sit there. I expected to see the young generation start to revolt. is when they started shutting down parks. They started shutting down everything from young people who were at very little risk from COVID, as we know now, and we had ideas then, and yet I saw the young kids kind of falling in line, and I almost think part of that is because they haven't been taught about certain things and rights and whatnot in the Constitution, and that's my concern. Is I'd love more teaching to happen, but who decides what that curriculum is going to be, and what is that curriculum going to be? That's my concern.
But it can be done. It can easily be done.
Well, do I get invited to a hearing?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Well, thank you for the suggestion. The bill have not been scheduled for a hearing yet. When that comes, we'll let you know and voice your opinion on it.
No, we won't.
I will tell you, no. Plenty of time. Don't worry. All right. Before I let you go, I have to ask you, because one of the other things that you were very strong about, along with housing, education, and being out there active in your community, being accessible to the district, constituent services. That's the words I was looking for. You also said you were a staunch supporter of the auditor's efforts to audit the state legislature.
Yep.
And then when it came time for a vote, you voted no on it. You fell in step with everybody in the House except the handful of Republicans who always oppose whatever happens.
To make it clear, in the beginning, after I made that decision to vote no on the amendment to the House rule early this year, what I did and other Democratic colleagues did was we did not vote against the audit. What we did is to vote to give the audit the independent, to hire whoever she wants as an independent agency, right? That power usually fall under the Speaker of the House. And the leadership give that to her. And she can do and hire whoever she wants in every subject she wanted to be. But it has to be an independent agency to make it fair and fair for everyone, right, at the State House. And I fully support the idea of audit to see what needed and what need to be improved and how can we make more transparency. But at the same time, it's the first time in this role, and with the work that I advocate before this, in the House rule this year, we make it more transparent to the people. We make the committee vote public. We actually set a timeline for committee to report bill out either in favor or to study, which is study mean kill it and bring it back next session. And we actually put a timeline on it to that way to make the process of how each legislation more smoothly and transparent, so we don't delay ourselves like the last session did. The last minute when they complete a bunch of
if you don't mind, I think he did the right thing. There's no question. I think the auditor's request is politically motivated. And the thing is, the legislature, the way the rules are and what have you, you are following the rules, and you've set up a process also. So it doesn't get better than that.
So there was a ballot question.
Yes.
You said you supported that ballot question. Did you vote yes on the ballot question?
I did.
The ballot question specifically said give the auditor the right to audit the legislature. It didn't say hire an independent auditor. Right. It didn't say hire whatever. Whether people like it or not, it was a piece of legislation that passed with 72% of the people supporting it.
Correct.
And now you guys are disobeying it.
We're not disobeying.
You're trying to change it.
No, I don't
have an independent, but the law says the auditor office will, not necessarily Diana DeZoglio, but the auditor's office will audit the
law doesn't say that. The law doesn't say that.
What does it say?
The vote. There was a vote taken. That's it. It's not the law. It's not a law.
When a ballot question passes, it becomes a law.
It still has to.
And it's being ignored.
That's. You can say that, but I don't place it there.
But I believe that what I did in relate to this topic is the right move to make it fair and justice for everyone, and to we still give the auditor the authority and the power to do whatever she wanted with this ability, but it's up to her now what she wants to do with it. If her intention was to really audit and find issue on the state legislature side and proving it, this is the first step to do so, and we give her the power. It's up to her, and she still has a lot of negotiation and discussion with the Senate side. That's another political stuff on the Senate side, but on the House side, we make it clear that this is the best move, and that's what that's how we moving going forward from here. It's an issue that we've been up for debate many months now, and it's still going on. But we want to get the work done, and this we feel like this is the best way to go. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
In the building itself, in this past 5 months, and there's a lot of things that I learned, and a lot of things that I see that need to be fixed, and work with other colleagues to address this issue. Right? Democracy take time. Democratic process take time, and that's how democracy work. And as someone who came from a one-party rule country, I love my job, and this past 5 months, and this role taught me a lot in how this process works, and we uphold the Massachusetts Constitution, and that's what we're going for.
Welcome to a one-party rule state. But so former Mayor Samaras and I sat here months ago on a Wednesday, right after that vote was taken, and we said, we really don't blame Representative Hong or Howard or Elliott or Senator Kennedy. If you know that the speaker controls the purse strings and can punish you by not funding projects in your district, well, you almost have to fall in line, especially if you're a first termer, right?
The speaker and the rest of the leadership did not come to me and tie my hand up to please vote for
but the issue is, I don't feel the auditor has the right. I mean, all right, this took a vote, but the way the legislation's been set up with the House, with the Senate, with the governor's office and what have you, they're separate entities.
Yep.
And they're supposed to take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I think when you have someone like Tara here, willing to, listen, make changes, and fight for the right thing, it can be done. There's no question. I think you've got a great future. You really do.
You said the speaker never approached you about that vote.
No, not at all. What I did, though, did approach the speaker and the leadership and ask them the question of why are we taking this route, and actually sit down and explain to me the purpose behind it, and what making fit for everyone, and the political side and the non-political side. That's what led me to this decision of voting no on that particular amendment by a Republican from Billerica.
A cynic, of which I've been accused of being one, and I am one on this issue, looked at your committee assignments. As a freshman, you got some really good committee assignments. Well, was that in any way related to the fact that you voted the way the speaker needed you to vote on this issue?
I don't think so. The committee assignment itself, I put a request in on that, and explain my strength behind it and the purpose of being here. To request the process to request a committee assignment, we put a letter in and asked to meet with the speaker. But as a freshman, I only sent a letter in and an email in, and to explain to the speaker the committee assignment request. So,
did you remind him that he endorsed your opponent in that race? By the way,
no. Well, he has to do.
You had a chance to get back at him.
Why would I do that? This job is all about relationship building and networking. To get things done, you have to work with other representatives, and I don't want to burn the bridge, and I'm not intending to, and I want to do good for the 18 Middlesex District and the city of Lowell. So I learn along the way. I will make mistakes along the way, but I will do my best to serve the people that elected me.
All right, State Representative Tara Hong, representing the 18th Middlesex District. You have to deal with me for another 20-something months. 19 and some change, at least. And then if you're really unlucky, you'll win re-election and you'll have to come back even longer.
I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to get elected for the second term.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in. Again, these are hot button issues now, and I'm sure
He's really a pussycat.
He's the one everybody's starting to hate now. They're used to me being a jerk. They're not used to this Mayor Samara. Wait till you see how mad they get at you over your auditor statement.
Yeah. Well, it is what I believe.
Right.
All right. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you as well to you, Mr. Mayor. Will I see you next Wednesday, or do I have to drag you back?
I think I have to go somewhere.
Thanks to Representative Hong. Thanks to former Mayor Samaras. Most of all, thank you for joining us here on the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse. A interesting discussion, a lot of information out there, and hopefully you've learned something from it and helps you form your opinions as well. We'll be back tomorrow, as we mentioned, with V Kong. On Friday, we'll have Batch and Michaela, aka the Pod Squad. They'll be here with us. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I got the wrong Friday. We'll have Leslie Boder and Jo Marie Buckley. Boder and Buckley, we're uniting the two of them here on our studio. We'll have a little fun on Friday, but every day it drops at noon. It's the Daily Pulse, as we like to say here at Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place. Till next time, everybody, enjoy this spring day, and I'll catch you on the other side.